It started like any other divorce case. Lisa and Mark had been married for over 12 years, their lives intertwined by love, assets, and two beautiful children. To the outside world, they seemed like the picture of a stable, successful couple. But behind closed doors, years of resentment and secrets were quietly boiling. What started as a fight over property and custody would eventually expose a shocking and deadly secret that no one saw coming. Before we dive into the unraveling mystery behind this case, make sure to subscribe to our channel for daily gripping courtroom stories. From betrayal to redemption, we bring you real drama every day. Don't miss what's coming next. Lisa first filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. At first, it appeared routine. She wanted full custody of the children, half the house, and spousal support. Mark seemed cooperative, on paper, but something in Lisa's tone during her initial testimony told the court this wouldn't be a clean break. She claimed Mark had grown distant, secretive, and increasingly controlling in the final 2 years of their marriage. She suspected he was hiding money, maybe even seeing someone else, but her lawyer advised her not to mention those things unless she had proof. That's when Lisa hired a private investigator. The PI followed Mark for 2 weeks. He wasn't seeing another woman. He wasn't living extravagantly, but he was having late-night meetings with a man tied to an offshore banking network, the kind that launders money. Lisa's attorney brought this to court. Mark's legal team brushed it off as business meetings. The judge allowed discovery into Mark's financial records. That's when it all changed. Within weeks, a financial auditor revealed that Mark had not only been funneling hundreds of thousands of dollars through shell companies, he was also the main suspect in a federal embezzlement case quietly building behind the scenes. The courtroom went silent. Lisa was in shock. She hadn't expected fraud, let alone federal crimes. But things took an even darker turn when the judge ordered Mark to disclose all offshore assets. 3 days later, the financial auditor assigned to the case was found dead in a car crash, except it wasn't an accident. The brake lines had been cut. Police opened an investigation. Everyone involved in the divorce was questioned. Lisa was frightened, not just for her finances, but for her life and the safety of her children. Mark denied involvement. He claimed it was a tragic coincidence, but Lisa knew him. She knew how calm and calculating he could be. The divorce proceedings continued under heightened security. Courtrooms had metal detectors. The judge was given protection. The media picked up the story, calling it the divorce with a body count. And this was just the beginning. The revelation of the offshore account set the courtroom ablaze. Maria's attorney presented documents proving that over $7 million had been quietly funneled into a shell company registered in the Cayman Islands. The account was created just 2 years before the couple's separation, and oddly, right after Jonathan's company reported record profits. Jonathan's legal team scrambled to explain it away. They claimed it was a business contingency fund, created to shield assets from a volatile market. But the emails recovered from his assistant painted a different picture, one of deliberate concealment. Maria sat in stunned silence as the court clerk read through message after message, coded references to Plan B, Lockbox, and the Island Fund. The betrayal wasn't just financial. It was emotional. It was personal. Jonathan had been planning an escape route while still sleeping next to her every night. The judge, increasingly skeptical of Jonathan's credibility, ordered a forensic audit. The courtroom became less about divorce and more like a financial crime investigation. Each day revealed a new layer: accounts under business aliases, property purchased under trust names, and even cryptocurrency wallets that Jonathan failed to disclose. The press swarmed. This wasn't just a divorce, it was a full-blown mystery unraveling in real time. Headlines screamed, "Millionaire husband accused of hiding fortune from wife." Social media exploded with speculation and support for Maria. The public saw her not just as a woman scorned, but as a symbol of how easily financial deception could be buried under love and legal jargon. Meanwhile, Jonathan's once pristine image as a tech entrepreneur began to crumble. Sponsors pulled deals. Board members started asking questions. The courtroom pressure wasn't just legal. It was now corporate, reputational, and deeply personal. And through it all, Maria didn't break. She sat in court every day, composed but resolute. Her mission was no longer just about her share. It was about exposing the truth. For every woman who had been lied to, for every partner blindsided by hidden bank statements, Maria had become the quiet warrior in a very public war. And as the gavel struck to end another session, the judge made it clear this case was far from over. The next session promised expert testimony that could confirm the biggest allegation yet, that Jonathan had been planning his financial exit for years before the first crack in the marriage appeared. What was once a love story had now become a national spectacle. The courtroom grew increasingly tense as the third week of the trial began. Now that the court had frozen Mark's assets and granted access to financial records, Olivia's legal team had more ammunition than ever. One forensic accountant took the stand and presented clear evidence of international wire transfers to offshore accounts, most of which had never been declared in the couple's joint filings. The crowd gasped when a secret account in the Cayman Islands was revealed, with over $7.3 million deposited in small, fragmented amounts over the course of 5 years. Mark's defense tried to argue it was part of business dealings unrelated to their personal finances, but it was too late. The paper trail, emails, and transaction receipts painted a very different picture. Olivia remained composed during all of this, but inside, she was shattered. The man she had once trusted with her life had lived a parallel financial life, keeping secrets not just from her, but from the government and his own investors. The betrayal now extended far beyond the scope of their marriage. Meanwhile, the media frenzy outside the courthouse escalated. Every news channel covered the trial. Olivia, once just known as the wife of a tech mogul, became a voice for women navigating high-stakes divorces. She started giving short interviews outside the court, not to bash Mark, but to share the importance of transparency, legal awareness, and emotional strength. Mark's image took a huge hit. Sponsors began pulling out. His company's board of directors held emergency meetings. Investors panicked. One of the most shocking outcomes was when a whistleblower from his own company stepped forward, claiming that financial discrepancies had been ongoing long before Olivia ever filed for divorce. The judge, watching all of this unfold, instructed the jury to focus on the facts of the marriage dissolution and not be swayed by media narratives. But by now, public opinion had already shifted dramatically. During a key day of testimony, Olivia took the stand. Her voice was clear, her words deliberate. "I don't want revenge," she said. "I just want the truth. I deserve to know what happened in my marriage, and I refuse to let silence protect lies." Her words resonated. Even people who had doubted her at the beginning started to see her as a woman seeking justice, not wealth. As the trial neared its end, the court ordered a full valuation of Mark's net worth. It was discovered that nearly $20 million had been hidden or misreported. Olivia's team demanded equitable distribution, and also requested sanctions for fraud. Everything now rested on the final few testimonies and the judge's ruling. But regardless of the verdict, Olivia had already won something far more important: clarity, courage, and control over her life again. Stay tuned for the final part, where the verdict is. As the final days of court proceedings loomed, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. The media had latched onto the story like vultures circling above a battlefield. And the public? They were glued to every twist, every new revelation, every shocking truth that emerged. What began as a simple divorce case had transformed into a financial thriller that no one had seen coming. Auditors working alongside the court's appointed investigators continued to unearth discrepancies. A hidden offshore account in the Cayman Islands, undeclared cryptocurrency holdings, and even more disturbingly, a secret second residence in Switzerland under a shell corporation tied directly to Daniel. Each piece of evidence painted the picture more clearly. This wasn't just a husband trying to shield assets. This was calculated financial deception on a global scale. In court, Sarah sat composed, flanked by Rachel and a team of financial experts. Daniel, however, looked visibly aged. The stress of the investigation, the humiliation in the press, and the possibility of criminal charges had taken a toll. The judge's final decision came swiftly. Not only would Daniel be required to relinquish all hidden assets to be equally divided, but he would also face federal scrutiny for tax evasion and fraud. Sarah, once cornered and unaware, had become the face of resilience. The case didn't just settle a marriage, it sent a message across the nation. In the aftermath, news channels flooded with panels discussing the implications. Debates flared about transparency in marriages, the need for financial audits during high-stake divorces, and whether the legal system was equipped to deal with white-collar marital fraud. Sarah took no pleasure in Daniel's downfall, but she stood proud. She had chosen truth over silence, strength over fear, and in doing so, she found a voice she never knew she had. With the case behind her, Sarah founded an organization dedicated to educating individuals, especially women, on financial independence, transparency in relationships, and navigating complex divorces with confidence. Her first book, Hidden in Plain Sight, became a bestseller. Daniel, on the other hand, faded from the public eye. His company's board ousted him. The lifestyle he once flaunted was reduced to legal repayments and community service. The man who once held millions in secret now had nothing left to hide. And perhaps that was justice, not just for Sarah, but for anyone who had ever been lied to, betrayed, or made to feel small. This story is a powerful reminder that truth always finds the light. And when it does, it doesn't just expose the lies, it sets the innocent free. If this story moved you or made you think differently about trust and relationships, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more powerful true courtroom stories just like this one. We post new narratives every day because the truth deserves to be heard. Until next time, stay aware, stay empowered, and remember, behind every trial, there's a truth worth uncovering.